What's up, Roxstars? Before I get started on top of the blog, look, I'm doing a little commercial. Actually, it's not really a commercial, but I wanted to show you guys this product that was sent to me. I actually have ordered from this company before, and I think she had taken like a hiatus I love to say that. It's such a wrong word. She had taken a hiatus, but now she is back. Some of you guys may have seen her on Instagram. The name of the company is Soapy Love. And when I tell you I love her product, I put that on everything. I really love her product. I found out about the company because Brittany had sent me like a love package a couple of years ago from the company, and that's how I became a fan of their products. And then, you know, so then I started ordering from her, and she has sent me things just because, and this is a just because package, but I also want you guys to find out about it because, you know what, damn it, a little bit of, you know, come up for everybody. It ain't never gonna hurt nobody, right? So might as well share the love and let y'all know what she got. So she sent me a few things, and we're not going to take a long time because, like I said, I got to do top of the blogs, but I still want you guys to know what I have here. So it looks like she sent me 3 soaps. Now, I don't think she's doing the, I don't think on her website I used to love her whipped shea butter. She had all of these different scents. I don't think she's doing that right now. So if you're looking at the video, girl, please bring back those whipped shea butters. Those were the best. I like shea butters, but I don't like the smell of shea butter. And her whipped, and even sometimes when you get shea butters from companies and it's even whipped, it still will have that shea butter under smell that I just, is that a word? Under smell? Whatever it is, I don't like that smell. Hers had absolutely no trace of that shea butter smell, and they smelled so good. And when I tell you, your skin felt like, I mean, you know what it feels like to have shea butter on. I like the fact that it's whipped instead of me having to, you know, get that big ass hard block and try to break some off and warm it up in your hands. And I nobody got time for all that. So girl, if you watching, please bring that back. But anyway, I've used her soaps as well, so I know all about them and they are great. She sent me 3. It ain't like you guys can even see these. That's the name. Oh, is it upside down? I got it upside down. Soapy Love is the name of the company. She has sent me African Musk, Clean Cotton, and brown sugar fig. I'm excited about my soaps because, like I said, my skin has always felt really nice. And you guys, I love the whole bathing experience. I mean, we all should. With y'all funky asses. But I mean, I love the fact of getting into a tub and really just kind of luxuriating in the water, and, you know, making sure that I have my moisturizing soaps, and, you know, I like my candles, and I like my whole smell goods, and I really enjoy my bath, and I literally take a bath every single day. Okay, because I will always believe that you need to get some water up in them cracks and crevices. Y'all keep fucking around with them showers. Anyway, I want to thank Soapy Love for sending me these 3 soaps, and she has given me a discount code, and I will leave that in the box below so you guys will know. You guys log onto her website and see what you want to order there, and shout out to you, and thank you, Soapy Love, so much for sending those soaps to me. Go get y'all some soaps and let me know what you think. What's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog. So let's get to it. Alright, Roxstars, first story up is a serious one. It's a sad one. It's one that we have heard about all week. It is about the murder of Nia Wilson at the BART station up in the Bay Area. BART stands for Bay Area Rapid Transit. It's their bus and train service up in the Bay Area, and we all know about the story. The story is so sad and so heartbreaking. Nia and her sisters, her 2 sisters, they were getting off of the train on their way to, I believe, a vigil for someone who had died a couple of years ago, one of the girls' ex-boyfriends, I believe. Anyway, they were on their way to this service, and when they stepped off of the train onto the platform, a lunatic, a murderer, came up behind Nia, grabbed her, slit her throat, also stabbed up the other sister. I believe her name was Latifah. I'm a couple of years older than Nia. There was another sister, from what I understand, that was there that was not attacked, but yeah, he basically attacked these girls, killed Nia on site there, and then he fled. There were people there that saw what happened but wasn't able to get to him, I guess, in the rush to try to help those girls, and he got away. We've all seen the video of the father talking about his daughter calling, and he couldn't even understand what she was screaming, but she was saying get down to the BART station. That's all he could understand to do, and when he got there he saw that his daughter, his 18-year-old daughter, was dead. And the story is just so heartbreaking. They did finally catch the guy who killed her. His name was John Lee Cowell, and a psychopath. That's all I could say. You know, of course they're saying that it was a racist attack. I don't even understand the mind of a person who does something like this, and it is extremely upsetting, especially for a mother who has a 17-year-old daughter, who has a 19-year-old son. My son is away at college, you know, not even in my grasp most of the times. So it is very upsetting to even have to talk about stories like this. You guys know that I don't like to, I mean, we like to laugh here, and that's fine. But of course, when there are stories like this where we have to just discuss, because we can't always keep our head in the ground. But what you guys don't know about me is that I have really bad anxiety. I don't never talk about it, but I am a worrier. I don't tell people what I worry about. I have always been an internal worrier, and I know things that trigger my anxiety. I've had panic attacks in the past, but I try to keep those things at bay. And this is the type of story that will trigger me. I haven't had that severe anxiety since 9/11, and I think I told you guys about that. I mean, I felt like I had brought my kids into a fucking crazy world. I had just had Jada. Joe was 2 years old, and I'm watching them blow up the World Trade Center on TV. Okay, I just was so... my anxiety shot through the roof. I mean, I had to go back to the damn doctor, the therapist. It was terrible. So a lot of times when you guys ask me to talk about certain things on my channel, it is hard for me because things worry me to death. And this is the type of story that will get my anxiety level real high. You know, my daughter is 17. I want her to be able to live her life. I don't try to keep her sheltered. And you know, you always have to try to find this balance where you let them live so that they don't feel like you have held them down all the time, but also where you know better and you try to protect them and shield them from the things. It's always a hard place to be as a parent, knowing whether or not you're doing shit right. There is no guidebook. And if I had to be that father who got that call, you know, I don't know. I mean, I don't even think I could have talked to the reporters like he was at the time. When you saw that video of that father and you could hear somebody screaming in the background, it is just the most horrible, because you can feel how they must feel knowing that something so senseless. I don't know what kind of hate you have to have in your heart. You have to be fucking crazy to be able to do something like this to girls, innocent, haven't done anything to you, know nothing about you. It's just it's unthinkable. So I don't even know what to say. I hope that guy gets the death penalty. That's how I hope he gets the death penalty. I hope that his life is so miserable from here on out for all of the lives that he has changed, just from that cowardly act. You know, you know, he's a terrorist, he's a murderer, he's a racist, he's all of those things to me. And I hate that for that family. My prayers are out for the Wilson family. Beautiful girl, okay? The beginning of her life, cut short for nothing. So, yeah, like I said, prayers up to the family. If any of my rock stars are out in the Bay Area, I'm sure you guys probably hear and see more about it than the rest of the world. Yeah, prayers up for everybody out there, and just another time where we have to be really aware of our surroundings and making sure that our children are as well. And that means not always looking down at their phones, or, you know, just not paying attention. It is just so terrible that you have to now be worried about a motherfucker coming out from the dark and slitting your throat. But that is the world that we live in today. Prayers up for the Wilson family, and rest in peace to Nia Wilson. There's another sad story that's going around right now is the overdose of Demi Lovato. When I was going to get my eyelashes done on Tuesday after work, actually it was about 4 o'clock, it came across my phone that they had just rushed her to the hospital, and I was saddened for Demi Lovato because we all know that Demi has had her struggles in the past. She is an addict. She was bulimic, I believe. I believe they said that she had bipolarism. Demi had been away from the music scene for a while because she had had some breakdowns in the past, and she was just trying to get her life together. So when she did come back, she had that monster hit, I'm Sorry. It looked like Demi Lovato was in a better place. They said that she had been sober for 6 years and was looking good, was sounding good, and we were seeing her everywhere. But I had started to feel like maybe she was having some problems. I remember reading an article where she was talking about being on the red carpet with Jeremy Scott. Is that his name? I think it's Jeremy Scott, the fashion designer, and Nicki Minaj, and she was just talking about how Nicki Minaj was so mean to her and it almost caused her to relapse, and that she had to end up going to an AA or some type of support group meeting just so she could get her head back right to try to get back in the game. I had a feeling then that she was having a hard time staying off of the drugs and relapsing. Then sure enough, we find out now with this overdose that she had fallen off of the wagon. They said about 6 months ago. She has not been clean since then, and I guess people got a warning of that because she had a song out called Sober. It just talks about her basically not being sober any longer. I haven't heard the song, but that's what I hear. But they're saying that she hadn't been sober. I guess she had a full-time sobriety coach that lived with her, or that was always with her. I'm not sure if that person lived with her, but they say that she fired that person about a month ago, and I'm assuming that she has been completely out of control since then. And then this overdose, they said that she was having a party, and I guess the party had lasted all through the night, and then that morning around 11 o'clock that morning, Pacific time, they got a call that she had overdosed. Turns out that the people that she was partying with, when she overdosed, she was not responsive, so they had Narcan. I think that's the name of the drug, and that's a drug that's supposed to revive you from like an opioid overdose. So they had given her the Narcan, and then they called the police, called the paramedics, and then they just left her there. So the paramedics found her, and I don't know if she was in and out of consciousness or what. Is sketchy there, but anyway, they rushed her to the hospital, and we find out that yes, she had an overdose. At first they said it was heroin, and I'm assuming drugs are just drugs, but no, it turns out that no, it was crystal meth, and from what I understand, crystal meth is a whole lot worse than heroin. And I was like, wow, she had completely fallen off the wagon if she was doing that type of drug. And just sad. I don't know. When a person has those many battles that they're fighting with mental illness and addiction and all of that, I don't know how you really can 100% be in the music industry and stay sober. It's so much drugs and alcohol and party and no rest, and all of that is already around you so much. It would take a very extremely strong person as an addict to not get swept back up in there. So part of me feels like I don't know how Demi will ever be able to beat those addictions and those illnesses if she doesn't get out of the music industry, or she's just really going to have to get to a very strong point in her life. And it's hard. It is hard. My heart goes out to her. I like Demi Lovato. Didn't know much about her music until recently, but I did know about what she had been through in the past. And, I just hate to see people struggle with things like that. But what do you guys think? Do you really believe, especially if I have any rock stars out there who have been addicts, alcohol, drugs, whatever it may be. If you're in an environment that always has that around you, is it very hard to abstain from it if it's everywhere? And I mean, even in the music industry, the way they glorify drugs anyway, I just don't know. I feel like it's going to be hard for her to get off while she's in that environment. But you guys let me know what you think. In the meantime, prayers up also for Demi Lovato. I just want her to be able to kick that habit. Hopefully she's able to get back on the wagon and soon. Oh, this computer is about to die again. Let me get through this. Real Housewives of Atlanta talk. So Kenya has finally come out and said the reason why she's not coming back to Real Housewives of Atlanta is because they offered her somewhere around 90% less than what they did last year. They want her to operate as a friend, but they want her to operate also on a full Housewives shooting schedule, which means that, you know, she would always have the cameras in her and her husband and her baby-to-be's face, but not getting paid for that. So I can understand why she would turn that down. I mean, and I never understand why they are doing this to her. I mean, I understand that they was upset with what she pulled last year, fine. But Kenya Moore finally is a wife. She has a baby on the way. She is she's an older woman. I mean, we just got to call it what it is. And I mean, she has a story there, like a bona fide, legitimate story. And now you want to get rid of her? Okay, I know she pissed off people, but let's look at the bottom line. I think it would be great for the show. But she says she's not coming back at that pay, and I don't blame her. As far as Sheree Whitfield, she says no, she wasn't fired. She also was offered a whole lot less than she thinks that she is worth. But fuck, when they offer you $50, then baby, that's still firing. That's just letting you letting you do it. Now, I don't know how much they offered her, but if they were wanting her to be calling herself a full-fledged housewife and they only giving her, you know, a little teeny tiny amount compared to everybody else, then really they was firing you. They was just letting you do the firing themselves. And that's fine. Like, I'm not gonna miss Sheree because I feel like that was her fault that she aligned herself with Kim Zolciak last season. It was bullshit, and she was stupid enough to let herself go there with somebody that's not even a housewife on the show. She played herself. So yeah, that's what they saying as far as Kenya and Sheree is concerned. I still feel like there is still some negotiation room with Kenya Moore. It's obvious she still wants to come back to the show. I'm sure the housewives would like to have her back. You know, I'm talking about the cast, because we see her in pictures with everybody and they all, you know, kind of want her to be there. But I guess it comes down to what Bravo, what Andy and the rest of the producers on the show will decide. But it seems fucked up to me that they're doing that to Kenya. I just honestly, for the life of me, can't understand it. I understand that you be mad, but fuck, let's look at the bottom line. Kenya Moore is going to bring in views next season with this baby on the way. And everybody wanting to know, you know, what the secret is with her and her husband. It's a mistake to me, but I guess Bravo knows best. As far as Candy being pregnant, there's a rumor going around saying that Candy might be pregnant. I don't know. She doesn't look pregnant to me, but I mean, why not? Her son is, what, a couple of years old now? And, you know, her and Todd could very well have a baby. So, I mean, I don't see it being impossible. But, yeah, that's it, child. Again, we always talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta. Shit ain't coming back until November. You guys, this R. Kelly song, I admit. Well, I admit that I didn't listen to the song. I have absolutely no desire to listen to a 19-minute song by anybody. But what I did do was read the lyrics, and it was something like 10 fucking verses, and even reading all them verses took a long ass time. I don't know if the song told us anything that we didn't already know or kind of assumed that he would say about himself anyway. I guess he was just feeling like he needed to get some shit off his chest. So I'll just run down a few of the things that he admitted to. He doesn't go to church. He had sex with his best friend's girlfriend, and he also had sex with his girl's best friend. Okay, he's tempted to do drugs. He can't read. He's a freak. We already knew that. He fucks with all the ladies, young and old. I think we knew that as well. He doesn't own his own music. That was a surprise. I had no idea. Evidently, he had signed away his publishing rights as soon as he signed his first contract, and he has never owned his music. That is unfortunate, because he has hits after hits after hits after hits, and He doesn't own the rights to any of that. That is terrible. That's why he tours, he said, because he has to be able to pay the bills, and that's the only way that he's really making his money. For all intents and purposes, he is broke. So that was the only part that was kind of shocking to me. He said that he was molested when he was young. We already knew that. He did touch on the girl whose parents are going around saying that, you know, she's a kidnapped and she's a slave and all of this, and he basically said the father dropped the girl off to him at one of his shows and was saying he wanted his daughter to be a star. R. Kelly and the girl was feeling each other and they liked each other, and I guess they hooked up together, and then her career didn't take the path that the father wanted. I guess the father was also looking for money and all of this out of R. Kelly, and he did not get that. And R. Kelly said that is when the father ended up getting mad and turned onto this whole crusade of saying that his daughter was kidnapped and being held as a sex slave and had been brainwashed. R. Kelly said he doesn't brainwash anybody. You know, he just kind of fancies his life as a modern day black Hugh Hefner, and that he's not doing anything illegal. He also says that there's celebrities out there who support him, you know, one-on-one, but won't get in front of the camera and support him. And he also feels like there's drama in Chicago, doesn't necessarily feel like Chicago supports him the way that they used to. And so, I mean, that was pretty much it. Not super surprising. R. Kelly is such a narcissist, and he just seems to get away with so much, and the things that he says just seems to just be like, ugh, sort of like he does it to get in your face. But like I said, not surprising. This is very similar to the long GQ interview that he did a couple of years ago, and I think I did talk about it on Top of the Blogs, and said a lot of the same things, you know. So that was pretty much it, you guys. Did you listen to the song? Yeah, like I said, 19 minutes of one song of R. Kelly would be like looking at Trapped in the Closet, the whole thing all over. That is dreadful, child. Can't nobody do all of that. So yeah, y'all let me know what you think about the song. Was there anything in there that was surprising to you? What do you think about R. Kelly? Do you believe that he is innocent, guilty, whatever? Leave it in the comments below. Oh wow, I haven't talked about Charlemagne the God this much ever on the history of Top of the Blogs. I try not to talk about him too much because I have a love-hate for him. He gets on my fucking nerves, but a lot of the things that he says I can agree with. What I won't agree with this time around, though, is his choice of words. Okay. Sometimes you get on shit and you be caught up in the moment and you say some shit that you had no business saying. Evidently, he was on a podcast, or was it Brilliant Idiots, some years ago, and he was talking about him and his wife, and he was sort of laughing about the fact that when him and his wife first got together, he had gave her a Spanish fly. Well, I'm not sure if he was talking about the wife in this situation, or I might be mixing up the two. There was a situation where he was saying that he had given some girl a Spanish fly and got her so drunk that she was basically knocked out and he fucked her. And so that was almost considered date rape. On top of that, there also is a story, not sure if this is the same story or not, but he did a similar thing with his wife. They had gone out their first date. They had drank so much that she was sort of passed out and they had sex, okay? And so he basically said that he had also raped his wife. Now, he said this some years ago before we got into this whole thing about date rape culture and just the things that men may do that they may or may not say is rape, but you know, haven't necessarily got the consent from the girl because the girl is drunk and everybody is out of their mind, and you know, you fucking on them and all of this. A poor choice of words. And the thing with the internet is once you say it, it's out there forever. People will remember what you say and you have to answer to them. So now he is coming out some years later, more mature, more grown, more experiences, I'm sure, and realizing that he should not have said what he said, that this Spanish fly, they had gone and got it together. He just declined to say that in the original podcast interview. But they had got it together and they did it together, and you know, they very much had decided that they were going to be having sex. That was the reason why they did it in the first place. But people have been riding him because of this rape case that resurfaced with the girl from, I talked about last week, he had to have his wife call into the Breakfast Club, or he called his wife at the Breakfast Club so she could explain that no, she had not been date raped, that she very much knew what she was doing, and that she even lifted her hips so he could take her panties off. She was drunk though, and they both was drunk, and they got together the next day and everything was fine. But technically, when you listen to these stories, a person cannot say, yes, I want to do it, and have not verbally given you consent. Technically, that is rape. Now, if they don't feel like they was raped the next day and they don't hold you to it, that's fine. But still, when you know, we just can't, especially today, we cannot afford to be splicing the facts. Okay, if you trying to have sex, well, what I will say is I want men to realize, now, if you are about to try to have sex with a woman and she is so fucked up that she can't say yes or no, then you just need to not do that. Okay, and I'm gonna make it a point to tell my son that as well. You need to not have sex with somebody who can't say no, and that's just it. That's just it. Now, whether or not Charlemagne's wife believes that she was raped or not, that's between the two of them. Obviously, she didn't feel bad about it because they ended up married and they have kids together and all of that. Okay, but we still can't afford for people to get it mixed up. Men, young men out there, old men, period. And I guess it could be the other way around, even though you don't hear about stories like that happening often. But if the person cannot say no, you need to leave them alone altogether. And that's just kind of my stance on it. Hopefully, Charlemagne will be responsible enough to not speak in those ways any longer, because he knows that those things will come back to bite him. And I know that he probably regrets being in the media so much right now for these negative things, because he's very much a I said what I said type of person and don't like to go back and apologize when he's already stood on what he said. But even he is getting a taste of realizing that you've got to be very, very careful what you say and do when you are out in the public eye like this. So that's how I feel about it. Y'all let me know what you think. Is he a rapist or not? And then lastly and quickies, you guys, shout out to 24-year-old Austin Clay, who got to work on y'all stupid ass president Donald Trump's Hollywood Walk of Fame star. Okay, that nigga got a pickaxe and busted the shit up to little tiny eeny beeny titsy witsy crumbs. And after he did it, he turned himself in. They have arrested him for felony vandalism. But honestly, you guys, I see no problems here. Okay. Hope the boy don't go to jail. He probably won't. But yeah, I'm absolutely fine with it. That damn y'all president is a dumbass. Y'all will not believe that my computer is about to die again. Let me finish up with this. Shonda Rhimes, she says she has 8 shows for Netflix, and she has told us about the shows. I will give you a list of what they will be about. One of the shows is about a fashion writer who lands herself in Rikers Island. The second one is a version of Bridgerton series. The third is a series based on the book Reset. She's got another one called Pico and Sepulveda, which is a show about Mexican Cali in the 1840s. Okay, Mexican California. I was like, that would be interesting. She has a series based on the book The Warmth of the Suns. Another one called The Residence, which is based on a book about the private lives of presidents. One called Sunshine Scouts, about some bratty teens trapped at the end of the world. And then she has Hot Chocolate Nutcracker, which is a documentary about Debbie Allen and her kind of reimagining the classic The Nutcracker. Okay, so she has all of those shows coming up on Netflix. I was like, damn, Shonda Rhimes, you've been doing the damn thing. I am not mad. So proud of her. And for her to be able to expand her imagination and her writing skills and directing skills and producing skills and all of that for Netflix. Such a huge platform. Way more people seeing her. And just proud of her, okay? You know, this pump of righteousness for the black woman. Black girl magic never stops. And Shonda Rhimes is a great representation of that. So yeah, we'll be looking forward to her shows. They're saying that Jay Ellis will not return for the 3rd season of Insecure, which is not surprising if you've been watching the show. I mean, it ended last season. There's no reason for him to come back. She is moving on with her life, and he doesn't have a space in it any longer. He doesn't even want to be in it any longer. Okay, so not surprising, but they did hold on to that shit till the show almost came back. Okay, we didn't have no idea. He's even been in some of the promotional pictures that he wasn't coming back. We had no idea. Or at least I don't know if those were promotional pictures, but I saw him in some pictures when they're in the pool and hitting a little beach ball around and everything. I mean, he was in those pictures with the rest of the cast, so it would lead you to believe that he was coming back. But nope, no Jay Ellis. What was his name on the show, you guys? Y'all know. Lawrence. No Lawrence. He is gone. And lastly, you guys, Eric Holder for president. Okay, people have been speculating whether or not he was going to run. He was avoiding the question a lot, but he finally did say on what is the talk show? You guys know who I'm talking about. He's right on the Steve Call. What is the name of it? Anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about. He was on there and he did say that he's thinking about running for presidency. You guys know that they don't like to announce their candidacy. They don't like to announce their bid for presidency until after the midterm elections, and that is coming up in November. We will hear for sure in January, I'm sure, that he is running, and good for him. Anybody at this point, then what is there now? We have got to get Donald Trump out of there, or anybody like him. So I'm all for Eric Holder. I don't know much about him politically, but I will find out about him soon enough, and yes, I hope that he runs. Eric Holder for president. All right, you guys, computer's about to die, so let me get off of here. We do this every single week, so make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back. Until next time, rock stars. Bye.